You're sitting on the edge of your bed, scrolling through your phone, and it hits you. Again, someone you know just got a promotion, another friend is moving to a new city, and someone else just figured out their entire 5-year plan. They all seem to have been handed a secret instruction manual for life that you somehow missed. And the worst part isn't even the comparison. It's the quiet, crushing guilt that follows. You know you are smart. You know you have potential. But when you look at your own path, it's just blank. A heavy, paralyzing fog. You're not lazy, and you are definitely but unmotivated. The people who experience this chronic, overwhelming sense of being lost are actually dealing with a very specific neurological response. And once you understand what your brain is actually doing behind the scenes, you will never look at your lack of direction the same way again. Let's start with what happens when you try to make a decision about your future. Most people assume that feeling lost comes from having no options. But for a specific type of analytical mind, the exact opposite is true. You are staring at too many options. Your brain is a highly associative machine. When you think about taking a new job, moving, or starting a project, you don't just see step 1. You instantly calculate the next 50 steps. You see the potential risks, the financial implications, the chance of failure, and the terrifying what ifs. Psychology calls this the paradox of choice intertwined with analysis paralysis. When presented with too many pathways, a highly intelligent brain becomes so obsessed with making the perfect choice that it ultimately makes no choice at all. It hits the emergency brakes. Your nervous system interprets the multitude of options as a literal threat. So your brain does what any efficient survival machine would do. It forces you to do nothing. It keeps you in the waiting room of life because, neurologically speaking, the waiting room feels safe. You aren't failing if you haven't started. Think about your brain like a highly advanced GPS system. A basic GPS just takes the first route it sees, even if there's traffic. But your GPS is too advanced. It is constantly downloading real-time data, analyzing roadblocks, calculating weather patterns, and predicting accidents before they even happen. Because it is processing so much complex data, the screen just says recalculating for a very long time. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are just processing at a depth that requires a massive amount of cognitive energy. But to the outside world and to your own harsh inner critic, this intense internal processing just looks like you are standing completely still. Now here is where it gets uncomfortable, because it requires you to drop the narrative that you are falling behind. A significant portion of people who constantly feel lost share one distinct trait. They possess a hyperactive level of self-awareness. People who lack self-awareness almost never feel lost. They just blindly follow the script society handed them, walking on autopilot, never questioning if they actually want the destination they are heading toward. Feeling lost is a symptom of waking up. It is your mind actively refusing to live a life on autopilot. You are feeling this friction because you are searching for genuine alignment, meaning, and purpose in a world that usually only rewards blind, reckless speed. Your lack of direction isn't a failure of your character. It is a profound, albeit painful, refusal to settle for a life that doesn't actually resonate with who you are at your core. If that is you, here is the reframe you desperately need to hear today. You don't have a motivation problem. You have an alignment problem. Stop punishing yourself for not having it all figured out by a certain arbitrary age. The timeline you are measuring yourself against was made up by people who don't have your specific mind. You are not behind everyone else. You are just very early in a direction you haven't fully chosen yet. Take the pressure off your shoulders. You don't need to find your ultimate life purpose today. You just need to take one small, imperfect step into the unknown. What you understand about the world, the real stuff, that depth is your greatest asset. If your mind is constantly searching for deeper answers and you want to understand yourself better, consider subscribing to Mind Reasons. We decode the psychology behind your thoughts. Let me know in the comments which part of this hit closest to home.